Your energy right now, oof, it's good. It is a reflection. All the work that you've been doing internally to love yourself, to heal yourself, to accept yourself fully. Your aura is bright and beautiful at this time. You are garnering the attention of a lot of people who, for various reasons, are very drawn to you. There's an essence of people that are like, I want to be involved in whatever you've got going on. Whatever you would ask, I would say yes to. If there were offers from you, I would accept those immediately. A lot of people preparing themselves to make offers. This feels like the energy of something that has to do with like professional, but also, people that kind of want to get to know you more. That can be friendship, but there is kind of an overtone of romance for this as well. So this feels like the energy of you've been sitting in like Three of Wands. You've been waiting for those ships to come in. You've been preparing yourself. You've been preparing your environment internally and externally, and it's the essence of like the wait is over. You've done your due diligence. You've made those preparations. You've created that alignment within yourself. You've created space in your internal reality. Ask and you shall receive. What you want is coming to you at this particular moment in time. So it feels like for a lot of you, this is something where you may almost anticipate something is on the horizon, but you're very unsure as to like what it is. And there's a sense that you're so in tune with your own energy. You're so tapped into yourself through the time that you've taken to like get to know yourself, love yourself, heal yourself, lift yourself up, that you are able to kind of sense interruptions within your field, but this is not the interruption in terms of like chaos or anything seeking to kind of knock you off your square. This is the sense of like, okay, things are coming towards me that are really in a deep alignment, deeper than I've ever had or experienced before, because I've taken the time to get to know myself in a different sort of way. So the manifestations are different. The way you word those intentions are different. Your self-talk is different. All of this has created the perfect storm for things to align for you very beautifully. So we have face your dragons. This is the energy of facing your fears. Some of you may kind of still be struggling. If you're going to work on anything at this particular point in time, this is the energy of softening to receive, open, expectant, knowing within, not hoping that beautiful things will happen, but knowing that like, yeah, I've done the work. I've done the preparation. This is my season of blessings. The next season is my season of blessings. The one after that is my season of blessings. There's a sense of kind of like pushing yourself forward into that place where you're standing with your hand open, not looking for a handout, but you're, basically letting yourself know and kind of letting the universe know, I've trusted in divine timing. I've done that inner work. I've created that alignment within myself, and now I am demanding that those manifestations come in. I know what I won't settle for. I know what will no longer be allowed into my life, into my reality. And so for some of you, this may be kind of a fear that like, yeah, the universe listened and it's answering you in a big way. Something that you've been hoping for, something that you've been working on behind the scenes, something that you've been wanting to call into your reality. It's almost like circling the perimeter of your life. So this could be somebody with their eye on you that wants to make you an offer. This is the energy of collaboration. This can be somebody who has taken note of work that you've put out there, efforts that you put out there, professionally or in terms of any kind of like passion projects or interests where you've gotten the right attention of the right person, somebody who's a mover and shaker, somebody that has the ability to open doors of opportunity for you, or they bring forth resources that really align with what you need to succeed and what they need to succeed. And so it's going to be a very beautiful partnership. This is almost the fear of getting exactly what you want. So something to be like mindful of within yourself, rather than kind of like reflexively sort of shutting down, being very discerning, kind of like trying to read between the lines and, not getting like fully enthusiastic or fully invested or involved in something too soon. Like, yeah, keep that aspect of yourself in mind, honor that part of you that has had to kind of develop or strengthen those skills. But there's a part of a lot of you that needs to really sort of train yourself at this point in time to like relax your nervous system, sit in the energy of like, I am always in the flow state. I am capable of kind of de-escalating within myself into a place of receptivity so that I don't have to, chase after what I want. I don't have to always be pushing, struggling, grinding, reaching. I can simply open up and what is in alignment for me, for my highest good, what is a match for the vibration, and I have attuned within myself, it will come to me organically. What I want is seeking me. It's that kind of an energy. So for some of you, in the coming kind of like weeks and months, that's going to be the biggest thing in the self-care practice, is kind of like, yeah, that big manifestation is coming in. And in order to sustain your ability to receive it, utilize it to its most like optimal potential, and to really have a good time when doing that, it's a softer energy. So it's more that yin polarity, that feminine polarity, that receptive polarity within, that you'd be well served kind of focusing on. We also have answer the call. Yeah, so this is an energy of like, some of you are going to get a really great phone call, an email, something that again is like an offer for collaboration. You may have already experienced some of that and you've been taking some time to think about things. And it's almost like the answer is yes, this is safe to jump on this. This is safe to move boldly in this direction. For some of you, again, that energy of like romance is coming up. So for some of you, this is going to be like a professional opportunity, something that you step forth into that maybe somebody you collaborate with, romance develops between the two of you in the future. And then it's kind of like the perfect partnering, but it feels like it's something that starts off on a professional level first and foremost, and then it develops into something more. For others of you, this is like answering that call to step into something as far as career is concerned, a different way of kind of even like putting yourself out there in your usual circumstances. Maybe the environment doesn't change, the job doesn't change, but how you're showing up to that does. How you're presenting yourself, the attitude that you're bringing to the table, the energy that you've cultivated within that is then present in kind of your interactions with other people. It's that timeline, it's that frequency, it's that vibration that it feels like also kind of calls in sort of desired experiences as far as like higher level love, better experiences with romance, different kinds of partners, because you're putting out a different frequency to the universe. And so that call is being answered by a different type of suitor than you were used to before. So again, for a lot of you, this is like a season of starting to get into these experiences of like things working out for you in all sectors of your life. We have get carried away. So this is almost the energy of like, it's not too soon to start celebrating, doing that little like happy dance within, especially with that energy of like answer the call. When that kind of news comes in, when that offer comes in, when that opportunity comes in, that can even indicate somebody that you meet. You're out and about at happy hour, you're out and about at lunch, you're out and about at dinner, you're out and about kind of just living your life, and you meet someone. You're taking a class, you're taking a course, you're hanging out with friends or hanging out with coworkers, and there's almost a sense of like networking, collaboration. Somebody that is going to be very crucial on your next steps in your journey, to kind of maximizing your potential in this lifetime in order to build and maintain prosperity for yourself. And there's going to be a sense that anything where you've struggled to find motivation, or you've been under a lot of pressure to perform or pressure to succeed or meet certain deadlines, there's almost a sense of like you're right in the home stretch. You're right at that period of time where like one thing works out in your favor, and then it tumbles into all these series of things that come into alignment with you and for you. And there's a sense with that as well, that you're going to be able to kind of look back at this period of preparation. Maybe you've been in hermit mode, you've been in your cocoon, you've been like working hard behind the scenes, and you're going to really see truly nothing that is meant for you has passed you by. You have not messed up anything that is in alignment with your highest good. Anything that was kind of cleared out of your life that you needed to walk away from, or, circumstances that maybe you mishandled things and it all fell apart. None of that was supposed to carry forth with you into kind of this next big and bright season of your reality. So when these manifestations start coming in, these offers, these opportunities, these new people that you're able to collaborate with, or even get a lot of positive feedback from people that are wanting to like feed into your dreams and goals, they're wanting to involve themselves in what you have going on, you're really going to see that it wasn't a loss, anything that kind of passed me by, or anything that was a loss, you've reshaped yourself into someone different. And so, now you know kind of how to handle situations better. Now you know how to handle things differently. Now you're calling in a different caliber of experience, or a different caliber of person that aligns with kind of this upgraded version of yourself. We have remember who you are. So elephants may be significant for you. That can be like a sign, a confirmation, a synchronicity. We also have that little Om symbol up here, that kind of divine energy. You really have stepped into your divine feminine era, this receptivity, that yin polarity, where those manifestations, they're going to tumble in. It's been a long journey. It's been a long process of kind of like traversing, it feels like, between sort of the dreamscape, the place where you're like, okay, these are my intentions, these are my desires, this is what I want, and how do I work with what I have in order to shape that, to make that happen. You've cultivated something very beautiful, very divine in terms of your internal garden. You've beautified your life in some sort of way, or maybe in many different ways, and there's a sense of like all of that was not just so that you could look better, so that you could feel better, so you could be surrounded by better things. But this is something where there is that complementary opposite. You're encouraged to cultivate that divine feminine energy, that receptive energy, that yin energy. There is divine masculine energy that is coming towards you, that yang polarity, that projective or action-oriented polarity, where you're not going to have to chase down these opportunities. Opportunities are going to be knocking on your door. And it's something, to again kind of, for a lot of you, there's going to be a sense of feeling a bit overwhelmed when these things start coming in. So, kind of just keeping one eye on that inner critic, that part of you that might be like, am I worthy of this? Am I deserving of all of these things? Am I someone that can really like sustain this reality? Is this a dream? Is this reality for me? Like, what's going on? There may be something subconsciously, like a lack mentality, a poverty mindset, or even struggles that you've had in life that have created certain scars within, certain wounds within, certain fears within, that you've worked really hard to transcend those things, or to understand those things, accept those things. And there's a sense of like, you've stepped beyond those being such a controlling force for you, but it's really important to kind of like remember those things so you don't end up in the energy of self-sabotage. So you don't run away from your blessings. So you don't kind of like feed into that sort of negative pattern of thinking, or however that manifests in your behavior. When these opportunities come in, when these new people come in, when these new offers come in, when this new love comes in, so that you're not like regressing into the version of yourself from a previous chapter of your reality that wasn't abundant because you couldn't handle abundance. You've created something different for yourself, though. You've up-leveled. You've raised your frequency. You've raised your vibration. You've leveled up your life in a very profound way, and that's why it's important to give yourself credit. Do that little happy dance. Celebrate all your heavy lifting up to this point in time. But definitely keep yourself in check. Don't let yourself second guess. Like, is this really for me? Is this too good to be true? Is this something that is just going to be another lesson? Or is this the blessing that I've been waiting for? This kind of like positive affirmations are going to be really important for you at this particular point in time, because it feels like for a lot of you that these messages are resonating with. You've really gone in and you've done that shadow work. You've done this very honestly, to try and kind of like heal your wounds. You've been on a healing journey. You've been on an ascension journey. You've been on a self-love journey. That's different from people who just spiritually bypass and are like good vibes only. That's the frequency you're supposed to tune into, is, focusing on the good, on those good vibes. But it feels like for a lot of you, you are able to do that very honestly because you've had to own your shadows. You've had to sit in that darkness. You've had to transcend that in some way. And so it brings forth a balanced energy, both the yin and the yang polarity. You've created unity within that. And so it's moving forward with that kind of unity mindset. But at the same point in time, being mindful of the parts of yourself that you've come to discover, or you have some kind of awareness might exist within that could cause you to topple your blessings, run away from them, push them away, keep them at arm's length. This is not the time for you to be second guessing yourself. This is a time to fully trust in what is actively pursuing you or will start to come in closer. That these are not just lessons. These are not just like karmic tests. These are not just people and experiences that are going to cause you to kind of undermine all the work that you've done up to this point in time. These are not things that are coming in to kind of ruin things for you. These are the things that are coming in that again are kind of a reflection of sort of that unity consciousness you've created within yourself, and in various ways in your own life. You stop disowning your shadow. You invited that shadow home for dinner, and you've come into a place of acquaintance, acceptance, love for these aspects of yourself, and so you're bringing in those kind of complementary opposites as well. But be mindful that you're operating at kind of that higher plane of reality, that bird's eye perspective, that divine frequency. Be mindful of your lower nature, be mindful of your fears, be mindful of your tendencies to self-sabotage, but don't assume that those things have the power to, kind of pull you off of this timeline where things are going to work out really well for you. Yeah, and we have share your bounty. So again, this is the energy of like people coming towards you with like, here's what I have to offer. Here's what I have to bring to the table. How can I help? How can I get involved? I'm excited to work with you. I see what you have going on. I've got resources in order to, accelerate this to the next level, to, work with you, and we could both benefit. We could both be prosperous from this. It feels like you've created such a stable energy within that, like your energy field at this particular point in time is repelling those lower vibrational experiences, or people that come towards you with that. It's almost like you're not going to have to really vet them out necessarily. It's kind of like those people will kind of clear themselves away from your experience on their own. They're not able to maintain or sustain like time spent in your presence, time spent within your energy field. They'll very quickly kind of expose themselves as individuals that are not in alignment with that like higher plane and plateau, that energy of abundance, that energy of the bounty and the harvest that you have been seeking, that you have been wanting, that you've been kind of like, trying to sort of fashion yourself into the person that can create this for yourself and can sustain and maintain that for yourself. And so don't feed into that polarity of fear of like people just wanting to, kind of take, or opportunistic energies. Yes, you may encounter those things, but it feels like it's going to be very easy to kind of just clear those things out of the way. It's not going to require a lot of work on your part. This is not a season of a lot of heavy lifting. This is not a season where, you're having to be like hyper alert, hyper vigilant, irons in many different fires, and kind of, keeping everything in line, everything in check. It feels like you've transcended that. You did a lot of that in the last season. And now there's a sense of just naturally kind of compelled towards or flowing towards things that are easy, relationships that are easy, partnerships and collaborations that, trust is built, trust is earned, and that trust is reinforced. Really good decisions, really sound decisions, people coming towards you with something real to offer, not a gimmick, not a scheme, not something that kind of like sounds good, but in reality it kind of fades away. This is something that, these are substantial offers. These are substantial opportunities. This is something that's really going to help to improve your situation overall, so that you can give more to yourself, and you can give more of yourself and of your resources in any way that you feel inclined to do to the people and things that matter or that are important for you in your own life. Yeah, and we have unmask your darkness. So again, for some of you, there's almost kind of the sense of like, my manifestation is almost here. I feel it on the perimeter of my reality. I've been sitting in that Three of Wands energy, waiting for those ships to come in, and they have arrived. What do? Like, it's the big day. It's the big event. It's the time in my life that I have been doing all this work for, that I have been cultivating my belief. I've been honing my skills. I've been loving myself, healing myself, choosing better for myself, creating wellness for myself, mind, body, and soul. And it's almost like this was kind of a solitary job. This is an inside job. And now you're getting ready to experience that with other people, with things that kind of match this higher timeline, this better life that you've been striving for. And so there's almost like a fear of the unknown. You're needing to kind of honor that and have compassion for that, but definitely again, like don't go into that energy of self-sabotage. Don't start to kind of like have those little mental wheels turning and you're second guessing everything. Yes, you have earned these blessings that are coming. Yes, you have earned these opportunities that are coming, these offers, these collaborations, this romance that is coming. All of that, it's in accordance, not just with something that was almost fated to occur, but it's like you've rewritten your own destiny. You've charted a new course for yourself and your life, and you've navigated that beautifully. And this is something that you've needed to do in like a single solitary sort of way. Now's the energy of kind of like, if you've heard messages of like help is on the way, if those things have been coming through, or you've been praying for assistance, praying for guidance, hoping that at some point in time you align with kind of those like-minded individuals, that soul tribe, that soul family, those kindred spirits. It's almost like those reinforcements are here. They're looking for a way to kind of access you. They're planning that approach. A lot of people, that you already have people with eyes on you, and these are powerful forces of change. Maybe it's that kind of like good friendship that you've needed, that solid and reliable person. For some of you, this is a very kind of beautiful love story that comes in that kind of fills that void in your life. For others of you, this is the right type of business opportunities, clients, customers, things where if you're looking for professional change, some of you, you're going to be headhunted, you're going to be recruited, you're going to be sought out, kind of like we see your skills, we've heard about you, we've seen your work, we want to bring you on board. For others of you, if you've been putting yourself out there trying to look for a change in that capacity, it's like it's not just, okay, I found something different that's in a better environment. It's something where it's what comes through, the offer that comes through, it's bigger than you expected. It's things where you're almost told like you're selling yourself short, or you've been so humble that there's no need for that, where you're kind of built up through these experiences or what is offered, and you're encouraged to kind of like be bold, unmask that darkness, shine your light very bright. Yeah, we also have rewild your life. So again, this is the energy of kind of like you're moving up into bigger and better things. You're moving on into something better. And this is not just kind of like I see a new goal on the horizon and now there's something to work toward and strive for. There's almost a sense of like you've tuned into that higher frequency. You've been delusional long enough and kind of just, I believe that this will happen and I'll make this happen. And you've done everything you needed to do in that capacity, and it's like that Delulu is coming Cholulu. Here it is. It's the time right now. It's something that you're going to look back and you're going to be so happy that you didn't give up. You're going to be so happy that you took a very kind of innovative or unique approach to how you're kind of like calling in this dream reality. Your life is getting ready to change for the better. It's starting off into kind of like a new energy, but something that feels right, something that feels familiar, something that you've been dreaming into being for a very long time. For some of you, these again are like really long-term manifestations that are getting ready to come in like a different form than you originally envisioned, but it's the right form, it's the right person, it's the right job, it's the right circumstances, the right opportunity, because it resonates with the version of you that you've created. And you couldn't properly see what that would have been like when you originally set those intentions, because you needed to develop this version of yourself. So it's like everything is coming into alignment right on time. Those ships that have come in from the Three of Wands energy, they're right on time. You have missed nothing. You are in the right place. You are in the right time. This is the right moment. Yeah, and we also have own your power. So again, this is a very empowering energy, a very empowering season. You are, radiating a lot of personal power in a way that other people are receptive to. They're drawn to you like a moth to a flame, not as a taker, but as like, hey, this is something that I want to work with. This is something that I can contribute to. If I'm going to invest myself, my time, my resources, my energy, what I bring to the table anywhere, it's with someone like you. So, those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Please give the video a like or comment to show your support. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out. Don't forget to hit that bell button to get notifications every time I put on new videos. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that in the description box below. I hope to see you again in another video. Please take care and be well.